afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacaster Addendum with me, host Imperial Dane. Today's topic is going to be how maybe to do camouflage a bit better in Company Heroes 3. I mean, Companies 2, I think, got a bunch more things right than, say, Companies 1, which just basically had anything that could camouflage, basically move about freely, more or less, even maybe slowly, and just, move about out in the bloody open, which was particularly tragic with the snipers. And of course, while snipers are still a problem, I still personally think snipers just need to be removed entirely, or at least, be changed drastically for Companies 3 held in Companies 2 even. That's not necessarily what I want to talk about now. Snipers, again, rather separate topic, but there's still a bunch of other units that do get like camouflage. Of course, the one I'm looking here, like the Kednev, I do feel falls into the category of not so good usage of it, because like anti-tank weapons with camouflage do tend to be a bit more, shall we say, abusable. I mean, Companies 1, you had players who just grab a bunch of Pack 40s, creep up, and then unleash what essentially was an alpha strike on your opponents, or you'd use, Stormtroopers with the Patriots, because again, they could just move anywhere and just creep up and then just unleash hell before getting away in some cases, which I don't think is sort of tactically very healthy or even interesting. I mean, now infantry from coming to, need to stick to cover, for example, to get the ambush bonus, which is good, but you still got stuff like Kednev, which can move anywhere, cloaked. And of course, in this case, it basically boils down to Kednev having this, weird gimmicky design with being, close range anti-tank weapon, which sounds great until, again, you realise that means it's going to be super vulnerable, like, camouflage, but again, that forced into the situation. And really, they shouldn't have added something like this in the first place. With that, again, it should have been required to be in cover, and then they could give him some bonuses on top of it, you actually sort of fired out of an ambush rather than just allowing it to move about there, because again, I think that's the wrong way of doing it. Again, I rather think the better way of doing it is again having units that need to stay in cover again to get the ambush bonus, but the camouflage bonus also get covered up, but at the same time they then actually get bonuses from them striking out of ambush, like better accuracy, more damage, maybe some kind of suppressor effect for some weapons like additional there. I think could do a lot in that regard, rather than just again having units can just walk about out in the bloody open with no real fear, just anything. And again, that just kind of where it's, gets silly and slightly immersion breaking. And also really infuriating for the other side, because again, oh hey, all of a sudden, just a bunch of anti-tank weapons shooting at your stuff, which isn't particularly, fun or interesting. So, I mean, I think there's just easily room for just, not having to do it like that. Again, just, force it to stay into cover, again, give it bonuses. And I mean, in some cases, maybe allow it to just, create cover, then sort of just hide behind, maybe, sort of set up a little bush or something. That could be sort of a neat effect, and then the opponent suddenly has to pay attention. Hang on, was that bush there before? Because, I mean, that'd be sort of also some way of, doing it as well, just allowing it to sort of establish their own sort of camouflage position, just, set of shrubberies, and then, all of a sudden the opponent has to go, hang on, was that there before? Wasn't it? And again, I mean, that could sort of create its own little game, sort of guessing game. I mean, obviously for a lot of expert players, it might not be so much unless, of course, it's like in the heat of battle, they're like, oh crap, is this bush trustworthy or not? In which case, most of this, of course, situation, the answer will no. But then you also get the situations where you could then maybe sort of create a series of bushes, and they have to like guess the right bush or something. In which case, of course, it turns into a bloody Monty Python sketch. But I'd say that's a lot more fun and interesting than the Kednev is just walk up to your tanks and shoot away. Like, again, you have to sort of guess it out there. I mean, that'd be at least, lead to some fun, to some shenanigans, some interesting stuff, for heaven's sake. Compared to, I mean, I'd think that would be, again, a lot more fun. Personally. I mean, again, feel free to disagree, but again, that would be infinitely more interesting again than just camouflage units being about on their own. So I would say that sort of, is largely, I mean, again, it's not a huge topic, but it's just sort of what I thought about. And again, then I sort of just realised, hang on, creating your own camouflage bushes, that could be fun. Again, again, Monty Python sketch and everything, but I mean, I just can't see anything just, not being interesting in that. And also just fun. Like, again, like you got like a series of bushes all of a sudden scattered about, and like, is every bush occupied? Is it the left one, the center one, the one on the right? Is it the ones in between? Like, what's the situation? There's the machine guns hiding in the bushes. Infantry. Anti-tank weapons. What could possibly be hiding in these bushes? I mean, you can even sort of create situations where some tanks can then hide with the right kind of cover, and then all of a sudden, like, oh dear, is that bush hiding a tank? Oh god. The horror, right? So that was sort of, one of my sort of ways of, thinking about doing something there. Like, trying to rather than just go, well, you know, we can only like that, trying to expand upon it, trying to create something with a bit more depth and overall just a bit more fun to it. Because I mean, again, like Kevin was just created about like that aren't particularly fun. Just like, you know, a pair of stormtroopers, you know, group of stormtroopers picking out a blind node with double pantry effect and just taking out your tanks wasn't fun, or snipers just swinging about in the bloody open. Camouflage again, that's just not fun. That's just not interesting. So in that regard, again, I do feel like there is room to do more here. And again, you know, where the limitation won't be, again, we'll only have to stick to cover. Well, is there some way we can maybe then sort of create more stuff, types of cover again, like, you know, again, like sort of fake camouflage posters. I mean, that could also work just again as just the way of creating your own light cover, just slightly obscures them in, but that's, you know, also helpful. I mean, hell, that could be sort of another benefit to, in some cases, upgrading troops like camouflage uniforms, like they just become a bit harder to hit, while in cover scene, while they are discovered, they're still harder to kill, because again, even that just, you know, makes it a bit harder to sort of properly hit. And that's also, you know, one of the reasons why you hack camouflage, because it doesn't just render your troops invisible, but even then, like, they'll be harder to just, you know, properly acquire and aim on, and that could, you know, be another way of doing it. Hell, that could be a way of just, you know, giving tanks some kind of like camouflage bonus, like, you know, even if they didn't spot it, they might just be a bit harder to hit, like, say, at range. You could then apply like range modifiers, for example, up close. Obviously, there's not going to be any hard time telling Jurgen apart from a bush, but say a max range, like there could be some kind of like accuracy drops, even like the unit gets spotted, you know, is revealed. That be, you know, there's some kind of, you know, modifier where at range it's just a bit harder to hit him, because he blends mostly in with the rest of the terrain alongside the rest of his squad. So I mean, in this regard, we can add some, another layer on top of the end of the previous one, but like there's another benefit to have troops with camouflage on them, rather just the ambush bonus, which of course means once it's spotted, well, that's it. Here instead we sort of create a bonus again with, like, you know, there's sort of a defensive element to it again, and an advantage there that sort of again makes it more desirable. And I mean, that could also be cool to do in companies too, like, you know, again, like say you got your grenadiers with ambush camouflage or camouflage training, all that uniforms on, and again, boof, like even when they get spotted, they'll be a bit harder to kill at max range. And of course, I don't know if that's possible doing like some range modifiers like that, but I mean, that could be a way just in companies 2 to make it more interesting and valid. But for companies 3, I definitely think it's, you know, also an avenue to, you know, pursue. But that's just an additional element on just the whole, you know, well, create more light cover for them to use, and I'll just give them bonus of just popping up the ambush in the first place. So like there are, I think, different ways of sort of handling it, but overall I do think we need to stray away from just these ambush academies just because we're about up in the open, or snipers or infantry, all that, and again try to stick more to cover. But that way then, you know, rather than just say, well, that's a disadvantage, but then look to give them more benefits for doing that. Again, being a bit harder to hit at max range, or, you know, ambush bonuses, and like then when they pop the ambush again, they do get for a brief while, you know, something nice. So I think that overall covers it, because I'm just going to, you know, make more Monty Python references, which obviously is going to be hilarious for some, but come on, get on with it. So there you go, a little video there. I hope you agree with it. I hope you like some of my thoughts, and of course feel free to talk out with your own thoughts what you could do with camouflage. I'd like to see it done with it. This is Imperial signing off. See you all, your wonderful audience, and another time, another video as always. Cheers, everybody.